Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fan fiction. Thank you so much to ChocoLuck Chipz for allowing me to use their amazing artwork in my thumbnail. If you'd like to check them out, their information will be linked below. They are so amazing and deserve all the love. I really hope that you're enjoying Adrienette April. And if you are, why don't you give this video a little like and subscribe while you're at it? That would be amazing. There's a lot more Adrienette April where that came from. Now, without further ado, please enjoy Adrienette April, Day 18, Rescue. Anything else I can do for you, miss? Marinette looked at the rolling cart filled with spools of fabric, mulling it over. No, thank you. I think I'm good for today. She piled the merchandise on the counter to get checked out. Do you have another big project coming up? The cashier smiled, ringing up Marinette's mountain of fabric. Marinette was a regular in this store, coming in at least once or twice a week to renew her fabric stash. You know it! I'm making merch prototypes for Jagged Stone, redoing designs for my Etsy shop, and making some mock-ups for Gabriel Agreste. Marinette said as she placed money on the counter, loading up her arms with fabrics, obstructing her view. How exciting! Do you need any help, miss? The cashier asked, concerned, pulling her hijab down her forehead a bit, preparing to help Marinette carry her items. No, don't worry about it. I do this all the time. Bye, Aisha. Have a good day. Aisha waved after her, taking care of the line that had accrued. Marinette exited into the sunlight, not even having a spare hand to wipe the sweat from her brow. She toted large spools in each arm. The spools stretched far above her head, blocking her view of the road. She walked down the sidewalk, moving in sync to the music in her head, careful not to mow anyone down with her fabrics. She looked straight ahead at the crosswalk, waiting patiently for her turn to cross. Parisians lined the other side of the street. It looked like a business meeting had just let out, several people carrying briefcases, phones glued to their ears. Finally! Marinette began to walk, nearly trampled by the mob approaching her. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, coming through. She tried her best not to knock into anyone, but at this point there were so many people approaching her, it was inevitable. A large businessman passed by briskly, accidentally slapping her with his oversized briefcase, knocking Marinette to the ground. She scowled as he passed, muttering a few choice words under her breath. Great, now all this fabric is dirty. I'll have to clean it before I can even use it. She grumbled some more as she dusted the fabric, eyeing the crosswalk sign. She still had more time. Marinette began piling them in her arms, one on top of another. She would stumble to her feet only for the fabric to tumble back to the ground. How did she fit all of these in her arms before? Marinette heard a car revving, heading straight in her direction. No, she should have more time. She could still make it. Marinette struggled to gather her belongings, the car getting closer and closer. As it approached, she froze like a deer in headlights. Adrien, don't forget that you have a photo shoot later today. Adrien's father instructed, face into his tablet. Yeah, I got it, Adrien said dismissively. The past few weeks had been nothing but meetings, photo shoots, and studying. No time for himself. Are you listening to me? Gabriel demanded, growing frustrated. Yes, father, he said, getting into the expensive car, but saw Marinette struggling with the fabric in the middle of the crosswalk. Adrien moved from the car only to be grabbed on the shoulder by his father. Where do you think you're going? We have limited time. We need to leave. He tried to usher Adrien back into the car, but he struggled against his father's hand. The car drove quickly down the street, unaware of Marinette hustling to get out of the way. Adrien broke away, screaming, Marinette! Marinette, move! He ran as fast as he could. Marinette's eyes whipped to greet him, filled with fear. He had to sprint faster. Adrian's heart pumped as hard as his feet against the scorching concrete. A little further. He faintly heard his father screaming for him to return at once. He dashed into the street, the headlights from the oncoming car shining into his eyes. He reached his arms out, grabbing Marinette's waist, pulling her up like she weighed nothing. The teens landed on the street with a thud, various pairs of eyes staring at them, seemingly unaware of what just occurred. Marinette's fabric lay scattered, tire tracks and dirt embedded on them. She breathed heavily, adrenaline coursing through her veins. You saved me," Marinette whispered, watching more cars mangle her fabrics. Adrien helped her to her feet, steadying her as she wobbled. "You just needed help and I saw you, and..." He rubbed the back of his neck nervously, his face turning a deep shade of red. "Adrien, you saved my life!" Marinette pulled Adrien into a hug, clinging to him. He rubbed her back slowly and methodically as sobs racked her small body. "Sorry about your fabric, Marinette." He felt unsure of what to say to her. Marinette pulled back to look at him, wiping the tears from her eyes. "I don't care about that. I'm alive because of you. That's amazing. You're amazing." She kissed Adrien, embracing him, her hands on either side of his face. She explored his hair with her hands, probably looking insane to people passing by. Adrien's grip on Marinette tightened, kissing her back fiercely. Marinette suddenly became acutely aware that she just kissed Adrien Agreste. She kissed Adrien Agreste? Her crush, Adrien! Why would she do that? In a panic, she backed up, tugging her pigtails. "Adrien, I'm sorry I kissed you. You saved me, and I... Don't worry about it, Marinette." Adrien placed a reassuring arm on her shoulder. "I'm glad you did." A subtle blush returned to his face. I really... "Adrien!" Natalie approached, angrier than he had ever seen her. "Hi, Nat..." Adrien started, half waving. "You are extremely late." "I know, but No buts. Come," Natalie said, matter of fact. No wiggle room. Adrien sighed out deeply. "Sorry, Marinette. I better go. I'll call you." Marinette stared after him as he walked away, looking longingly as his blonde head bobbed down the street. It was barely noon. What a day! She stared back at the fabrics laying in shreds in the middle of the street. In a daze, she walked back into the fabric store to buy the same items that were laying in the road, and hopefully make it home safely this time. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave me a comment telling me what you thought. If you don't know what to comment, say Adrien is a hero. And as always, stay miraculous!